Mark with NTX Fishing here. Now, as you can see, I've got a few fishing rods over here, and I wanted to talk about the Ugly Stik gx2s. I've got 5 of them, and I've been fishing these for about 3 or 4 years now, and well, I'd like to tell you a little bit about them and what my opinion is. So let's share that now here on NTX Fishing. I've had this rod for close to 5 years, and these are very abused. I mean, we beat on these things. We don't treat them like fancy pieces of equipment. We treat them like ugly sticks, and we throw them in the trucks and cars. We slam them in doors. This one's been in every ceiling fan in the state of Texas, and it's still good. I mean, you know, the action on these rods isn't the best. I'll agree with that. But this, as far as durability, I mean, you know, we reel in big fish on these. You know, I need to get some big fish on video, obviously, and we're fixing to do that. But these rods hold up, not just to that kind of abuse, but, you know, well, take this rod, for example, B&M Silver Cat. You know, this is supposed to be a good rod, and it got good reviews. I actually like the feel of this rod. You know, it feels good in the hand. It's a 2-piece rod, so you know you could put it in your car. But you know, the eye just split in half right there. You know, this is like basically your Shakespeare cheap version of the Ugly Stik. And these are pretty good rods. You know, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, the whole rod has this kind of bendy action to it. And I don't really like that very much. And then, of course, as you can see, it's discolored now. You know, I've had this one a few years. And look at that. You know, that's the kind of quality you don't get with your GX2s or your Tiger rods or any of those rods. You know, it's trash, basically. So, you know, both of these rods, this one in particular, I had really high hopes for, and it just didn't work out. It was a total piece of crap. So, I wouldn't recommend either one of those. But these Ugly Stiks, all 5 of them, these things are almost indestructible. You know, I pull up 50-pound fish on these things, and I don't even use a net. I don't have to. Not even on the light rods, because they're just not going to break on you. You know, I've got bigger rods. You know, here's a Pin Carnage, 7/6 2-piece right here. You know, this is going with me to the coast here in a few months, and yeah, you know, you could pull up a 500-pound shark with this thing, you know. But if you're catfishing, you know, at your local lake or pond or your river, Ugly Stiks, medium action, right here. 7-foot medium heavy, all right. You know, like I say, they're not the best quality rods in the world. You can get better rods as far as feel. But I think for the price versus how durable they are, you know, I'll just take this one for example. I mean, look at this. Look at I don't know if I can show that here. You know, look at the flex and the bend you get in this medium rod, you know? They don't break. And the 7-foots, you know, they're fairly bendy as well, but these have a thicker backbone, you know, so you can throw a little bit heavier weight compared to the 6/6. Now this is basically the same rod. Now this is your medium heavy action 6/6, medium heavy action 7-foot, and as you can see, the 7-foot rod is not just longer; it's thicker. All right. and it's got a nice stiff backbone. You know, you get this rod. Now I used to fish the ugly sticks a lot when I was a kid, and you know, when we were teenagers, that was the rod to have. That was the one that everybody wanted, and we got away from that. You know, we started buying more expensive rods and bass rods and reels, and everybody wanted the fancy bass gear. But as I get older, you know, I just want something that works and that I don't have to buy, you know, 3 more of every year. You know, I've been fishing for 30 years, and these are not the only broken rods. All of my rods are broken, all of them. These are just the 2 I happen to have left that I can show you. All of them are broken, and then none of them really last longer than a year, maybe 2. Now these pin rods, this Carnage 2, you know, this pin right here, graphite rod, and that's an 8-foot rod. This is a 7/6 rod. Pin rods, the ugly sticks, you can't go wrong. All right, these rods don't break. You know, these are rods that you can depend on, that your kids can depend on, that your buddies can depend on, and if you have a guide service, your customers, you know, can depend on, you know, or even a bass rod. You know, this medium action, 7-foot. So, you know, check out, you got a little bit stiffer action on your bass rod. You know, you got a little more play. You see that? I don't know if y'all can see that. This makes a great pond hopping rod right here, you know? And that extra flexibility, it gives you better casting. If you, like, for example, you know, they're real finicky, and you need to throw something weightless. Well, you can cast because of the extra bend in this rod, because of the flexibility in it. All right, because of the flexibility in this rod, you could cast the bare hook pretty darn far, and you throw a worm on there, and it casts like a normal rod does with, you know, a 1/4 ounce of weight on it. You can really get it out there with this thing just because of the flexibility and whip in the rod. It's almost like a fly rod. So if you're fishing light tackle, you know, they're great. And here's the beauty part of it, is you can go ahead and put a nice thin leader on there, and you can put 20-pound line on this, and you could still pull in a monster fish with this guy right here, you know? Even though it's got that flexibility that allows you to cast the smaller lures, the tiny baits, you know, it's got the backbone to pull in a big fish. What about these? And this is a 2-piece, you know. That goes in your car, no problem. You know, even if it's a 7-foot rod, turns into a 3.5-foot rod real quick. So, anyways, guys, that's the GX2s and some of the pins. That's all I buy anymore. I buy GX2s and pins. I guess once you get to my age, you know, you get older, you get tired of just going through stuff and breaking stuff. And the pins and the ugly sticks, they don't break, at least in my experience. So this is Mark with NTX Fishing. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe.